Hey guys, welcome back. I was just going to show you how to upcycle some cotton napkins if you have them. I'm going to use these to make a shopping bag or a grocery bag. And I have two of them that's going to be the front and the back. And because they're already hemmed all the way around, it's going to be almost like using a French seam, so you won't have any ravels. And then I cut another one and to make two handles with. Now you could just use like that canvas strapping or something like that if you prefer. But since I had the extra napkins, I'm just going to go ahead and sew up some straps. So I took the hem out, and we're just going to drop this in. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to top stitch all the way around the strap, and that's going to close up the hole that I left to turn it. Okay, so I took another napkin and I cut it down just a little because I want to put a really deep outside pocket on. So if I was using this and didn't want to take my purse in, for example, and just had a wallet, it's deep enough I would feel like it was secure in there without having to add a zipper or anything like that. So I've just rolled this side under that I had cut, and I'm just going to go ahead and put a stitch in here to hold it, and then we will sew down both sides to actually attach the pocket. We'll just lay this back out here. And I think if we go 3 on each side, we'll be good. Okay, and then I think I'm going to leave 3 at the top. Okay, so let's go ahead and sew this. And because this is squares, I'm just trying to keep it as lined up as I can. but on a grocery bag, it's not really a big deal. And then I'm going to flip it around and sew down the other side. I'm going to be cutting that off, so that's why I wasn't worried about stay stitching down there or anything like that. Okay guys, so now I'm ready to put the straps on, and at first I had thought about sewing it like this and then folding it up and sewing it again just to make it a little more strong. However, since all of this has no raw edges and everything's finished out, I'm going to do it a little bit different. So I'm going to bring it over here and just kind of, I was going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and have it here, but I'm going to try to line these purple rows up. So I'm going to bring it to about here. So my white here and my purple here is lined up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew down, across, and up, and then put the X on there like you see a lot of bags with. But I just want to get it lined up first. Now this is probably no big deal here because the next side, when I line up the strap, it may not match anyway. But I'm going to try it. So I'm going to bring this one over, and yeah, see, it's not going to line up properly. So we'll just stick with the 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we'll go 5. And get this pinned on here. And grab another pin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll keep it lined up here just at this line. All right, so now we're just going to sew these down, and then we'll do the back side of it the same way with the straps, and then we'll be ready to sew the bag itself together. Now if you feel more comfortable, draw you a line to sew on. I'm just going to eyeball it and sew toward the corner. I'm going to sew across the bottom again. Just to get myself in this corner. And then eyeball over to this corner. Oh, my thread broke there, but I think we're good. So you can see it there, that's on there nice and sturdy. Even if, you know, one seam gave you a problem somewhere in the future, there are so many seams going around it, and then the X, that we are good to go here. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this one on and the other one, and then I'll bring you back for finishing up the bag. Alright, so now we are ready to sew the bottom. Now we'll say I trimmed a little too much, so I'm just going to take a really wide seam at the bottom. Okay, so now if I peel that back, yeah, we've caught plenty in there. So now when you turn it, you can see that that hem's not coming through. My napkins were not completely square, so I just kind of gathered it in down here. I noticed the same thing happened when I sewed the other side. And that's perfectly fine for a grocery bag. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so you can stop right here, or you can come to the bottom. We've done that on some of the other bags. And you pull out your corner like this. In this case, yeah, and fold to each side instead of trying to fold it all in one. And then sew across like that, and that will give you a wide boxed bottom instead of just a bottom like this. So let's go ahead and turn it right side out. So here's our bag turned right side out, and as you can see, no raw edges anywhere because using the napkins I left all the hems in. And we just, you know, put a little extra here on the handles to make sure that they were secure. We didn't line this one. There wasn't a need for it. I didn't think, since it was just a shopping bag and because of these hemmed edges. I just didn't see a reason to go ahead and line it, but you could. Then we have this really deep pocket on the outside. And again, no raw edges because of the hems. I do need to thread trim. But it makes a nice grocery bag. Like I said, this is nice and deep, so if you did have your wallet or something in there, you wouldn't have to worry about it sliding out accidentally, or, you know, like you would maybe with a shallower pocket. All right, so that's just one way that you can recycle your napkins, your old napkins, or even if you just have too many. That's what happened in my case. I had bought a pack of napkins, had like 12, and I only needed 4. So I decided to see, it's a good fabric, what I could make out of it. So here's our shopping bag. Have a great day, guys.